So now we're going to talk about the most important and powerful control mechanism of all, which is sex and sexuality. The reason why this is so important to control is that the family and the male and female bond is the biggest threat for us to be able to control the pyramid. So we want to split the male and female apart, make them antagonists, and then their ability to rear their children is weakened, and then we can then educate and control their children. So we really want to convert the family into a baby-making machine where the family creates just basic skills that don't really generate a very strong individual. So why is sexuality such an effective control mechanism? It's so low on the Maslow's hierarchy that we'll throw caution to the wind to get it. And so the idea is to promote people to having dog sex as early as possible. That means sex based on external features like dogs, as opposed to lovemaking. Because people who have dog sex exhibit dog behavior. It's very powerful, very effective. And the other thing too is we want to deprive those iconoclasts, those people, individuals who are really powerful and very dangerous to the pyramid, who maybe don't want to have dog sex. They get isolated, and either they finally capitulate and have dog sex and become dogs, or they just become isolated and frustrated. So how do we do this? We redefine nature. Each of us has one or two chances in our life to bond, to fundamentally shift and bond with something new. And a lot of it typically happens around when we become an adolescent. And so the idea is to create that dog sex as early as possible, so adolescents bond with addictive dog sex. We don't want them naturally bonding with lovemaking. We want them to start an addictive pattern as soon as possible. They become great members of the pyramid. So instead of courting and being playful and discovering each other, we want them to really focus on having sex based on external features, on what people are wearing, what they look like. We want it to be stressful and addictive. We want it to be self-centered, and so on. So we want them to lose themselves in submission as opposed to losing themselves in love. And this addictive behavior is really good because it's good for the pyramid, and it drains people's energy, and it isolates them, and prevents them from having that strong emotional bond which is required to rise or really see the pyramid. So what people are doing is they're losing themselves in submission. It's naturally sexual. We want to lose ourselves in something. We want to lose ourselves naturally in love and so on. But it's much more powerful if we lose ourselves in a submission to somebody we don't know. We bond with somebody's values that we don't know. And so we get used to that. You reinforce that. It's very easy to fall in love with losing control. So the direct results are that strong denial is created, which is what we want. We want denial. For life, often. And then sex becomes associated with meaningless relationships. It becomes a stress-relieving tool. And then, even better, when you find somebody who's a powerful individual, you're going to tend not to want to bond with them because it's not what you're used to. You're not used to that relationship, that strong relationship. So people stay isolated, and especially the most passionate become rabid dogs looking for sex. And one of the great things is that the pop culture machine is going to do all this for us, for the most part. It defines what it means to be masculine and feminine. It puts people in a box and locks them there. It sets what's sexy and what's not. So people start focusing on beauty and perfection and adhering to that, creating a lot of stress, a lot of ups and downs, and weakens people and drives them to satisfy themselves with addictive type behaviors.